Bank of England.
Oh, hello. My name's Danny. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Tiago at the Bank of England.
Oh, Tiago. Thank you. Just to let you know, Tiago, I'm a don't know how to describe what I do, but I suppose I'm an investigator into some major public sort of institutions and corporations, and I am recording the call just for. Just hold on 1 second. Sorry, there's someone at the door. I'm just recording the call so that I've got a record of what you're saying. It's a very important question. Oh, fantastic, perfect. We're both protected. So my question is today is a lot of people that I'm speaking to are rather, and I'm talking about really intelligent people. I've got a degree. I'm educated to degree level, but I'm no professor, that's for sure. But even people who studied economics. And what they're kind of saying in a nutshell is that the economic system is basically just one big Ponzi scheme. And obviously it's a bit kind of terrifying to contemplate that is true. And so I'm just sort of calling the Bank of England to find out, is there any truth in that?
That the economic system is a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
I'm not really in a position to comment on that, I'm sorry. Not really something that, unless it's something that the bank does, or something that we are a central bank,
right.
As you know, of
yes.
the UK. We are in charge of monetary policy,
right.
as well as the prudential regulation of the financial system in the UK.
Right.
If you have any questions about that, I'm happy to answer, but not, if the economics is a Ponzi scheme or anything like that.
Well, what I'm saying is, when I say, okay, I'll be a bit more specific then. When I say like it's a Ponzi scheme, do you create money out of thin air at the Bank of England?
We are responsible for issuing the pound sterling, yes.
Yeah, so you create it whenever you want to out of thin air, right?
Well, we do. We're in charge of interest rates, and we are in charge of printing the currency in the UK. So yes, we are in charge of printing money. Not from thin air. No.
What? So when you say it's not from thin air, where does the money come from? How is it created?
Well, the money is printed by us and issued by us.
Yeah, but it's not all printed, is it? It's not all printed. Most of the money that's in circulation. What? How much is in print? How much of the money in circulation is actually in print?
The money circulation in print, I think, is around 40. Just a second. Are you looking at how much money is being printed? Is it 52 billion? It's around 52 billion worth in notes.
In notes, that's a tiny amount of the money in electronic compared to electronic money, isn't it? That's a tiny amount.
Yeah, it's around 58 million. It's in our annual report.
Right. But what percentage is it of the money in circulation, so to speak?
It's a percentage, yes.
Yeah, it's a very small percentage, isn't it?
It's a percentage of it.
Eight, did you say? The figure 8?
Percentage. I'm not sure how...
Oh, you don't know what the percentage is? Right. Okay, so what I'm saying is that you can create money, can't you, just at the flick of a switch?
Well, are you talking about quantitative easing?
Well, that's an example, isn't it?
I don't know how this question is gonna, help you.
Well, I guess I'm trying to understand how this whole thing all works, And as I said to you in the beginning of the question, intelligent people are questioning the very, the very validity and morality of the system that we live in. Mm-hmm. And they're saying that it's actually not what it says it is on the box. That it's presented. The system is presented as if it's basically a fair and just system, but actually, and it's presented as if the banks, for example, say that they're lending money to people. But where do they get that money from, and how is it created?
Borrow it from the Bank of England.
Right, and where did the Bank of England get it from?
Well, we're in charge of issuing the pounds.
So you create it out of thin air. Somebody has got the power to create money out of thin air, and then somebody else gives it. What's that?
The currency is backed by securities.
I know it's backed by securities, but it must come from somewhere. It may be backed by securities, but where does it come from? You create it at a flick of a switch. So somebody's got the power to create endless, well, certainly billions and billions of pounds at the power of a switch. They then give that to people they know who work in banks, yeah, who then lend it out to other people.
They don't give any money to banks. The banks borrow money from
the banks borrow money from you. Okay, so hold on a second. Yeah, but you still give it. You give the money to the bank, and they, at a very low interest rate, and then they
don't give money to anyone. We lend the money.
Oh, so you lend it. So you lend it to them at a very low interest rate, right? So you create it out of thin air. Do you not see the problem with this? Do you not think there's any problems with the system in which we're living? Or do you not see the massive advantage that people who've already got most of the money in the world have, as opposed to people who've got very little money? Can you not see that?
Well, what does that have to do with the Bank of England?
Well, because the Bank of England creates money out of thin air and basically gives it to the banks at very low interest rate, right? So that they can lend it at a higher rate of interest. And who are the people that pay the interest? Yeah, the people with least money who have to go and borrow it.
Well,
that's almost
like any other commercial institutions.
Sorry, say that again. Sorry, say that again. I didn't catch that.
So, commercial banks, like any other commercial institution, are in charge of creating their own terms and conditions for the products they offer and sell.
Right.
So the interest rates charged on, let's say, credit cards or loans.
Yeah, but why don't you listen? If you
are up to their discretion, it's within their remit. It's not our remit. We do lend the money to banks, but then they're commercial institutions, like any other commercial institutions. They're going to be the ones responsible for doing that, not the Bank of England.
Yeah, but hold on a second. You're mixing up something here, or rather, I think there's something here that needs to be pointed out, which is that you, as the Bank of England, obviously connected with the government, you claim that I presume you claim that the people own the Bank of England. Do you? Do you claim that? Do the people own it? Who owns it? Who owns it?
We're a public entity.
Yeah, so does that mean the public owns it?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So the public apparently own it, except so the public own the bank. Why would the public, right? You're the Bank of England. Why would the public, if I owned part of the bank, and you came to me and said to me, Danny, we're thinking of we've created a whole bunch of money, or we're thinking of giving it out to the banks, or we could also, the other thing we could do is just give it directly to the people who actually own it. Why don't you just lend it at the low rate to the people who own the bank? Why do you lend it to the big institutions? Who then extort greater money from the people?
Well, the only reason why we lend to banks is that, to get people borrowing, to get the economy going again.
What do you mean to get people borrowing? Why don't you just lend it directly to the people?
Doing quantitative easing and reducing interest rates, because of the economic conditions at the time, this was decided, the Bank of Treasury decided to do this. So to get the economy back into pace, that's eventually going to benefit not just, as you claim, the rich people, but, the UK society in general, borrowers, homeowners, people looking for jobs, people trying to get employment, people borrowing, people lending, savers, etc.
Yeah, but the banks take loads of money, which is why they pay themselves massive bonuses on the way. They're not. Why are they creating, as I said to you, I want to ask you, are you a UK citizen?
Yes.
You are, right? As a UK citizen, let's say you and me got together, and a whole bunch of us got together, and we got to choose whether the Bank of England lends money directly to the people at the lowest possible interest rate, or has to do it via the banks. What would you vote for?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch
If
that.
You could vote,
there's quite a few lines ringing here.
Sorry. If you was to have an opportunity to vote, whether the Bank of England lent directly, or even I would say gave away, I don't even know why not giving away, but lent at a very low interest rate, the money it created, directly to the people, or via the banks and have them put on their percentage, yeah, what would you vote for?
I'm not really in the position to comment.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah. I'll take that as an obvious answer, because I can't imagine why anybody would vote for the banks and other than the people that work there. So now, regarding back, just to finish off the conversation, regarding what I said about Ponzi schemes, I'd forgotten something. The reason why I think the reason why people suggest it's a Ponzi scheme, amongst other reasons, is because as you require these interest, everything, because it's run on usury, on interest, yeah, you require people to pay interest, and then more money. Where is the money to pay the interest going to come from?
I'm sorry, I've got quite a few lines ringing. Sorry, I do apologize, it's a bit noisy.
Sorry.
Can you repeat that again, please? Sorry.
Yes. I'm going back to the Ponzi scheme point, right? The reason why people claim it's a Ponzi scheme is because, let's say you have £1,000 to start with, right?
Sure.
And someone comes and borrows says, "I need to borrow £1,000 from you." So, "Oh yeah, here's £1,000, but you need to give me back £1,100 next year, right? Because you may be working for Wonga, in which case it'll probably be next week. But anyway, right? And where am I going to get that? Where am I going to get that £100 from if only £1,000 exists? In other words, you need more as you work, operate in this crazy world of interest. There's never enough money to pay back the original loan and the interest.
Right. Okay.
Can you see why that might be called a Ponzi scheme?
Right.
Yeah. So you're not denying it's a Ponzi scheme, then?
I have no comments.
Right. Right.
So what else do you want me to say? That's why I'm not commenting.
Have you ever heard of these ideas before?
The ideas that you're talking about, no, I haven't.
Really, you've never because there's lots of. I mean, the internet obviously is full of everything imaginable under the sun. But
yeah, you can find various.
But I'd recommend, if you work for the Bank of England, start nosing around. Watch a film called things like The Money Masters, or type into Google, where does money come from?
We did actually publish something which might be of interest to you.
Oh yeah.
Since you do some research on the internet.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
If you log on to our website, are you in front of a computer?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, great. If you log on to the Bank of England's website.
Yeah. I'm on there.
If you go on to on the left-hand side of the page,
yeah,
there is publications. If you just click on that.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get various boxes. You're going to get the inflation report, EC minutes, etc.
Yeah.
If you click on quarterly bulletin.
Quarterly bulletin.
I think this might be of interest to you.
Okay, I am. Yeah, it sounds
interested in these sorts of things.
Yeah, yeah.
And then if you click
I can't find quarterly bulletin. Hold on a second.
14th.
No.
2014.
Oh, quarterly bulletin. I'm still trying to find quarterly bulletin. Oh, here it is. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah. Which one?
14/03/14.
Yeah.
QB Q1.
Ah, there's a film.
Yeah.
Right.
It's an article that we published and a film.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
In the creation of money in the modern economy.
Yeah.
That might be of interest to you.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
What we have to say, in regards to that, it might give you an insight to how money is created, as this is what you're actually looking for.
Yeah, that's a great film. That looks very interesting. I'll have a look at I'll have a look at their propaganda.
I'm not an expert. I do apologise, but
no, it's fine.
An understanding of what exactly. I think it will give you an explanation of what exactly you're looking for.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right.
Speak again soon. Bye.